out like me a Honda Infinity. This thing had a Honda filter on it. This episode, I'm getting this thing ready for the R title inspection. Even though I don't have a title yet, I'm hoping for it to be here this week. Typically, when I send a title in like that, 2 weeks to get the salvage certificate. That's been over 2 weeks, so I don't know how long we're gonna wait on this, but the thing runs good. Mexico is very nice today. Took it for a nice drive, got her warmed up, drained it, found out that this metal skid plate is very nice for draining the oil, especially whenever it gets down to this point when it's dripping and it drips into the inside of the pan, so now it's filled with oil. That's a nice feature. I just don't understand. They could have moved this hole over. Could have been over just enough. So it just dripped on the inside of that. So yeah, we'll have to clean all this stuff up in here. There's a good bit in there. Regardless, we're servicing it. It's gonna look awkward, but I'm gonna take the wheel spacers off because they're not legal to run. I mean, you can run them, but you got to put them on after inspection. It's still illegal. So we're going to take those off. I'm not doing window tint in this episode, but it's got to come off. And we got to clean the interior, which you don't have to do for the inspection, but I want to clean the interior. And we're just at a good point on this. So we're just going to go over it and get some things tidied up and done and ready for the inspection. Hopefully in this episode, maybe we will get the inspection done. Now guys, hear me out. Like, I really like this. Like, this thing, it feels really strong. Even compared to the 370, this thing, it shifts quicker. It's just, I don't know, performs way better. But I'm thinking, I don't know if you guys have seen this, and you know I am not a Ford guy at all whatsoever, but the new Ford Maverick trucks in the hybrid is, I'm sorry, but that is just a home run. For the price, its base price is $20,000. I built one just to see, you know, with a couple extras, the XLT, not the XL, with the hybrid engine and stuff, which is only a front wheel drive, have you, but for a daily driver, that's all you really need. 40 mile a gallon city, 34 highway. Like, that's better than cars. That would be better than this. So I was thinking, like, not this year, but next year. I feel certain I've had enough of the Z, and I'll probably sell it and then use that money to go towards a Ford Maverick. I think that would be perfect, especially for, like, going to Johnny's for getting parts, going through the junkyards and stuff. Like, what else do you possibly need? This thing's, I mean, I just look them up. Like, Ford hit it out of the park. If other companies would come out with something like, I don't even think they can compete. But that thing is awesome. If I can, I'll put a picture up of the one I built. I don't know if that's the one I would go with, but I like the one color, the whole setup. I like it. It's nice. Sorry, Honda. Another thing I would like to do to this is make a armored skid plate, kind of, because when I backed across the driveway over there, I had a bang, and it was the cats hitting the slab over there, which I need to get some stone put in, but there's a bolt here and a bolt over here, and I'm thinking of making a sloped plate that's tight to the cats, and maybe coming up and bolting into these tie down points. It would have to come down at a slope, go under, and go up at a slope. And it had to be tight against these cats. Because it did put a little dent in that thing. I do not want to raise this thing any higher. I don't. Especially since I got the alignment done now. I do know one thing I want to do. I want to put a little bit of paint on this oil pan. Let's do that real quick. So I had this wheel enamel paint, really strong stuff, Duplicolor, it's good stuff. It's gloss black. It was the only thing I had here was gloss black. It ends up being a really good paint. So that's what I did. Subframe was getting rusty from being scraped up and stuff, so I went ahead and shot that. And I just shot part of the transmission oil pan because some of the paint was scratched off of it. That's not gonna hit now. My cats are gonna hit, which sucks. Down the road, we might have to get different cats. They're the lowest point of the exhaust system, which sucks. They make ones that all the cat material is up top, and then it just comes down and bends. That might be the ones we get next if we do get them. But I like the way it sounds. It runs good, and I got no check engine lights, and everything works. Another thing we need to do is our washer bottle, which is right inside of here, has a leak. So that might be the next thing we tackle. But me and the wife are going out to eat. So before I do that, I want to put oil in this thing so I don't forget. So that's just something we need to blow the engine because we didn't put oil in it. That would be great. Only the finest of oils for my rig. Yeah. Another day, another dollar, ho. I haven't done anything and just had it on my lift. Anyways, I want to check this washer bottle. So we need to go up. This is a school day. I went to work today, come home, and work on stuff. Go to work, come home, work. Another thing we're going to have to address more sooner than later. There is more fluid on this. I wiped this thing clean, and I've only taken short drives since. So it's leaking worse than I thought it was. And I thought maybe it was leaking from this output shaft here, but that doesn't look very wet. It looks like it's coming from the casing. That sucks. There's a weep hole there, and it doesn't even look wet around the weep hole. Where? I don't even know. I wiped this thing down thoroughly. I'm wondering if we can't solve this by taking each bolt out and putting some silicone on it, because from what I was seeing after I sprayed it down, it looked like it was getting wet around the bolts. Like they're supposed to be sealed off. Like you're supposed to put a little bit of silicone on them before you put them in. So I guess we will see. There's a bolt missing. Right there. What the heck? Where did that go? So we're missing a bolt there. Wipe this thing all down. We might end up dropping this transfer case, but I gotta go find another bolt for that. I can't believe there's a bolt missing. But anyways, as you can see, even after wiping it down, it looks like it's getting a little shiny around that already. So I'm gonna have to get new fluid anyway, so I'm gonna go ahead and order that. We might try to seal bolts up and see how that works. Otherwise, we'll probably drop this thing down eventually, because I'm not trying to run this thing dry. Anyways, that's gonna be a bolt I'm gonna need to order. Let's see what this washer tank looks like. All I gotta do is pull this shield down out, and it should be pretty obvious because it's draining down to where it's reading low level, so it has to be near the bottom of the tank somewhere. Looks pretty obvious to me that it's cracked right there where that tab is, where the wiring harness attaches to it. So yes, it is cracked right there. So I'm going to try to JB weld that, because I've tried other things before and it just doesn't work. Like plastic welding and stuff, it just doesn't work. So use epoxy maybe, and we'll see how this turns out. Right on the mount too. That's going to be a pain. We might end up getting another tank. I got her pretty covered, and that's the fast setup stuff, but I'm not going to put anything in it right now. That's enough for tonight. Tomorrow we'll put some fluid in her. We'll just put a little bit in it first. Just the tip. But we'll just put a little bit in it first, and then we'll monitor to see if it's going to take or not. I'm not even going to put that in there yet. I'm just going to plug these in and let it hang. Just let it hang. Sometimes you just got to let it hang. Another quick note while I'm on it. My paint stuck to this front lip really well. You want to know how I know? Because it scraped right here, and instead of taking chunks off, it just put a couple scrapes in the paint. So that means that my paint adhered pretty good. So I did a pretty good job. Pretty proud of that. It's the next day. Ended up putting more on it, and I actually put that 3M panel bond on there. It's hard. All of it's hard. So I'm gonna go ahead and put my clip back in and put a little fluid in and see what happens. Yeah. All right. Let's see if I can do this without spilling it everywhere. Should I funnel it, or should I just go for it, huh? I'm not gonna pour this all in. I did spill some around it, so there'll be some leaking out down below. But I don't think it's gonna leak from the normal spots. So far so good. There's no puddles underneath it. It's not wet. Not wet anywhere. Completely dry the whole way around that repair. The transfer case that is leaking, I did order the missing bolts. I ordered a couple extras actually, and I ordered the fluid, which is the same as the transmission fluid. It's they actually call for the J fluid, but the S fluid is the synthetic update for the J fluid. So before I drain that out and put the S fluid in, I'm gonna run it on the lift, put it in gear and let it run with it up in the air, and hopefully we can see where it's leaking from, because it didn't take long for that to get drops all over it. So I would imagine we'd be able to see where it's leaking from. I think they had that transfer case apart, and my guess is when they sealed around the case, they went out around the bolt holes instead of going on the inside of the bolt holes, and I think it's leaking out through the bolt holes and, you know, around the case. I think that's where it's leaking at. That's just my guess. If that's the case, we're going to try to seal it up with sealant on the bolt holes. If that doesn't fix it, then we're going to have to drop the transfer case and, yeah, reseal the case. Alright, so I don't really have the time to do anything today to this. I'm going to the gym. But I am going to hook up this battery charger that I just got. This is a Top Dawn Torpedo 4000. This does all different types of batteries. Cold batteries, normal, small, 6 volt, 12 volt lithium, and it also has a 12 volt repair mode. If you have a battery that's not fully charging, sometimes this can bring it back to life. That is awesome. I don't have a charger like this. It has polarity protection where it won't let you hook up backwards. It's fused. It's very, very nice unit. I'm going to hook it up to the Infinity because I told you I've been having kind of a weak battery issue with it. I'm going to put this in 12 volt repair mode and see if this will bring this battery back to life. Also, the Scion's leaving tomorrow, so I'm honestly kind of sad to see it go, because it's been a really, really good car for me. But I can't keep them all. This isn't Pokemon. And I still don't have a title for this freaking thing. Yay. Alright, so it's powering on. Right now, you choose your mode. Double clicking changes your mode. Single click selects it. So we're going to put it on 12 volt repair. Single click. Now it is in repair mode. As you can see, the LEDs are pretty bright. It's pretty self-explanatory. showing 25%. I think that means 25% of the repair process. If you're in charging mode, that would be how much charge you have. So, let's see what this thing can do. Hopefully it'll rejuvenate my battery and we'll get a little extra life out of this thing. Yep. One last drive in her. I'm going to take it to the gym right now. I also got to drive it to work tomorrow, but as you know, she's been a really good car. She's been reliable. I'm not saying this is my last one, but it's time for this one to go. This is a freaking week-long episode. Anyways, wheels need to come off. Wheel spacers need to come off. And then, while I have the wheels off, instead of just throwing them back on, we're going to put this thing up on the lift, and we're going to... well, first we're going to start it, then we're going to put it up on the lift, because it's a lot easier to start when it's on the ground. Then we'll just monitor the transfer case for like 10 minutes with it running. See what happens. I feel certain we're going to find a leak. I don't have the fluid to put in it yet. And I don't have the bolt to put in it that's missing. Although I do have a bolt over here that might work. Not sure yet. We'll have to see. Also, this went through the whole repair process. Was 100% when I came back from the gym. And now I put it on charge mode and it says it's at 100%. So it's trickle charging right now. This is a very nice little charger. And it's compact and robust. It's nice to see that all four are spinning. That rotor looks like it got hot. It's kind of purple looking. But yeah, all four wheels are spinning. I think the front ones are spinning a little faster than the back ones. As you can see, everything's spinning. And now we're just gonna monitor and see what starts leaking first. It already looks a little wet right around that bolt hole right there. Looks a little wet around this bolt hole. So let's just keep watching. Let's see what happens. Looks, this seam right here is already a little wet. That's no good. But these bolts are also a little wet. Did they put this together and not put sealant on it? It's already a little wet around there. Huh. I don't know. Why is this leaking? So, there's no gaskets in between this casing here and this casing here. And what I'm looking at, it looks like it's okay on this seam, but this one right here looks like it's getting wet already. But like I said, it looks like it's coming from around the bolts, because the bolts are wet. So I think we're gonna drain this, and yeah, what we're gonna do is we're gonna drain this, and when we do that, I'll take all the bolts out, reseal them, put it back together. If we still have a leak after that, we will be dropping the transfer case. I don't think it's gonna be that big of a deal, but there is a gasket in between the transmission and the transfer case. I can see one in there. So I might have to order a new one there. But it doesn't look like a bad job. So it actually looks like one of the easier jobs, because like if you had to do the headers or anything up on the engine, it's pretty tight up in there. You know what I mean? Also looks like they kind of like semi-drilled a hole in the bell housing. I don't understand that either. But it's at least dry, and that's a good thing. Hey, our rear diff's dry. That's good. I should hit this rear cross member with some paint too. I didn't do that. Yeah, the more I look at it now, it is leaking from every bolt hole around here. Especially look at this side now. Look at that bolt. See how wet it is. Look how wet that one is. How wet that one is. Those are the ones that go the whole way through to the back case. So if they did not seal on the inside of those bolt holes, it's just coming through the bolt holes is what they did. And it's looks like this one's wet up here and that one's wet right there. So I'll be taking those out and putting a lot of sealant in around those to see if we can get those to seal up. But where's that one bolt I had? Let me see if that bolt fits. You gotta be kidding me. I had one. Ha! I'm gonna put some sealant on that one before I put it through the whole way. But yeah, I ordered the wrong bolt for the suspension parts up there, and this just so happened to be the right bolt for this transfer case. All right. So we got that bolt in. It's a little bit shorter than what the ones are supposed to be that went in it. There's some sealer around it, but I'll be taking that one back out. Like I said, we're gonna be doing all of these, and I might add a bead around the bottom here. But yeah. So we definitely know we have a leak, and that's gonna be the next thing we do. I don't have the title yet, so the parts get here. That's what we're gonna be doing. Anyways, let me shut this thing off. I'm anxious to see how awkward this thing looks with no wheel spacers on it. So let's go ahead and do that. And it's honestly no surprise to me that they probably had the transfer case out. It probably needed rebuilt or replaced because they were running that offset wheel setup with on an all-wheel drive system. They probably one wheels, you know, the fronts or the rears were turning faster or slower than the other side, and it's putting a lot of stress on those gears and the clutches in the transfer case. So it probably blew the thing out.
Look at that fitment go! Dang, son, this thing's hella flush.
That looks awkward as hell, but this is what has to happen for me to pass the inspection, so it'll be easy. We'll just put them back on afterwards. Make sure your adapter rings, if you have adapter rings on the back of your wheels, make sure they're on there. I threw them back on. Right here's the spacers we're running on the front. This shows you, this is a perspective of how much wider this car is. That's the front ones. They're a little bit smaller than the back ones, but we're running one of those on each side. So I'd say the car altogether maybe 3 inches wider the whole way around. Here's the back ones. They're not much bigger, but they are. They're just a little bit. These are 40 mil. Those are 38 mil. And you can go a little bit more aggressive on it, but yeah. And the fitment on these wheels would have been really, they actually would have stuck out past the body. So I didn't think they would, but yeah, they would have. See, right there's where the original body is. So yeah, we're not running a huge spacer like we're running stock wheels, but it's still significant. So that's all I have time for in this episode. Next episode, I'm going to Copart. Their auctions are ridiculously big right now, and instead of doing one auction a week, they're doing 2 auctions a week, and they have, every auction is like 4 times the size that it used to be. So I'm probably not even going to get to look at every car I have on my watch list, but I want to go look at them. And I'm not, there's a couple like, you know, neat cars that I want to bid on. One's at a decent price right now. I'll throw you a little hint out there. It's an Infinity. Why? Why do I keep doing this? But the TC's gone, and I need to do some efficient flips. Honestly, I don't know if I'd call them flips. I mean, they technically are, but I don't really want to say that, so that Uncle Sam will stay away. But we're going to get new content for the channel. Basically, is what we're doing, and nothing spectacular. I say that every time, but I still find some cool stuff to video. And a lot of people might complain because they want to see this, they want to see that. Listen, my channel is what I do. Okay, this is my channel, this is my life, and my world doesn't revolve around YouTube as much as it seems like it since you're on my channel. My life is mostly being a normal person and working a full-time job. Like every video you see is normally just on the weekends or me tinkering maybe a half an hour after a work day or an hour after a work day. So you know, I fit in what I can. That's why I don't do auction walkarounds all the time. That's an hour drive for me. So it's like, I'm not just going to show you stuff. Like, if I'm going to the auction, I'm going to buy something. That's what I'm here for. Like, this is a real channel. This is as real as you get, folks. That's enough of that rambling. So if you like this video, smash that like button. Consider subscribing. Hit that dislike button if your mom's fitment is a little bit loose. We'll see you on the next episode on Wrecked. She sleeps here all day now.
Okay, she don't want to get nothing hairy then.
She's sleepy. Are you a sleepy girl? Huh? Look, he's sleepy boy too. Yeah? Say bye-bye. Bye-bye.